So Maximo, thank you very much for joining me through the Zoom. And we have seen that the FAO has released a report and warning the world will face a global food crisis, and lots of countries are taking some measures. For example, Vietnam is considering a ban on exporting rice, and India probably is considering the similar policy. And in China, we have also seen some people are holding rice and flour. Do you think that those kind of reactions are rational? And what do you mean the global food crisis?
Okay, so let me first clarify. FAO is not saying that we are in a global food crisis. On the contrary, what FAO is saying is that today in the world of staples, so wheat, maize, corn, rice, soybeans, we have sufficient production and sufficient stocks, a lot higher than in 2007, 2008 food prices. The only problem, because this is a capital intensive sector, the only problem is a logistical problem. And the signal that we are trying to give to the world is resolve the logistical problems. And many of those have been resolved by now. So we do not think there is any need for countries to put those type of restrictive measures to trade. On the contrary, our argument is let trade continue to flow. In the case of the specific case of Vietnam, I think Vietnam, the only thing is doing, they put a preliminary export restriction until the 15th of April. And this is for them to assess the level of supply they have. And that's perfectly okay. They should be doing or implementing policies, I hope, to open. But again, in the staple commodity world, the rice world, there is no need to do this type of measures. There is no need to restrict trade because there is sufficient food.
We do not know when this pandemic will come to the end and when those kind of food supply chain will resume. What's the impact do you expect to happen, and which countries are most vulnerable?
Yes, today what is happening is that the food is still moving through borders. There are some sectors that are more affected than others. The sectors that are mostly affected today are fish and fruits, okay, and meats. And that's where we have to find ways to resolve those problems. I hope if governments allow commodity to keep flowing, that we shouldn't be having any scarcity. How this will be evolving in the future. The problem that we will really be facing after this period of lockdowns is a problem of recession, meaning that we will have a lot less demand, and that's where the demand shock will activate. And that means that there will be less demand for commodities in the world, and the prices will go down. So the most vulnerable countries today are the import-dependent countries, countries that could have significant risk on the health side. And if you look at the health risk index that has been developed, Africa, Sub-Saharan Africa, is the continent that could face the bigger health risks if the pandemic goes in the levels that we are observing in Europe and in the US. The same applies for South Asia and also for small island countries.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.